Hello and welcome to the first video of my channel, Fit for IGCSE. I hope that you enjoy this video. So the whole purpose of my channel is to take you through the whole course of IGCSE physical education in particular. That's the coursework and the theory, as well as other IGCSE subjects, but that will hopefully come later on. So for now, to avoid taking too much of your time, let's dive straight into this video. So I've compiled a few tips, general tips for your coursework, how to edit your coursework. Sometimes you can be unsure about it, and this video is to clarify just a few things. Later on, I'd like to go specifically into certain spots, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment them down in the comment section below. So, okay, to jump into this video, it's a how to edit your coursework video. So, firstly, we can see what I'll be taking us through today, like what software to use, your introduction, like how do you introduce yourself, how do you start your coursework. This is also something in general, you should do it for every activity, not just one or like basketball only, no, for every. And then the content, and then lastly a few closing tips. Content means the main content of your video. So okay, next, what software to use. So I personally recommend and highly recommend using iMovie. This is what I used. So of course you could have your own other preferences. Maybe I have a bias because I used it, but to me it had all that I needed. And I'd say all that you generally need are voiceovers. Like the software should have a feature that you can use voiceovers, speed up your videos, so you could put like fast forward, and easy transfer of videos, and produce a good quality video. So voiceovers you may just need for things like weight training, though you should explain this yourself. Like voiceover shouldn't be everything. Or you may just need to clarify something, but you also don't want to do it, like you don't take up the time that you should be actually performing the sport or activity, so you could just say it over voiceover. Speed up your videos just to save time. You only have 15 minutes to make the video, like you have to compile the video down to 15 minutes. Easy transfer of videos, that means it's easy for you to, let's say, get your camera, transfer it to your laptop, and then it's also easy to transfer it to the software, all that type of stuff, and then produce a good quality video. This is just basic, just a software that wouldn't lower the quality of the videos that you're putting up, simply put. Others that you could use are Canva, Adobe Premiere Pro, and of course any that will give you what you're looking for. Okay, so next is your intro. So I'd recommend your intro to be short but sweet, in a sense that the sweet part is having all that you need to put. It shouldn't also just be too short that you're not giving the information that the examiner wants to see, but it should be it also shouldn't be too long that you're taking up the time. Again, I'd mention again that you need to put your video down to 15 minutes, so you don't take up so much time just doing an intro. That's not gonna gain you any marks per se. So just a few seconds, and you could play it on a black screen or just record yourself saying it. Any is fine. So the information that you should put down is your full name, your sport or activity, your center number, your candidate number, and a picture or a short clip of you with your bib on. This is important because the examiner will be identifying you throughout your video by your bib. So you shouldn't change this number as much as possible. And if there's any other information that your teacher might have told you to add to your intro, I'd say add that as well. Okay, this is an example with a black screen of what I'm talking about, and that's your candidate number, your center number, your sport or activity, and your full name, just like that, plain and simple. And then after, you should have a picture as well. with your bib on like this. Okay, moving on. Next is the content. So this is very, very general. Let me just stress that, because it could be so different for different sports. So firstly, for like a team sport, for example, you should ensure to at least have videos of you performing skill-based drills. So this shouldn't be everything, but it's still a major key to getting a high mark. You need to show that you can do it in a drill, you can do it in a game, and you could do it even in a very competitive game. So, skill based drills, what does this mean? This means dribbling. If you're playing football, for example, dribbling, passing, shooting, heading the ball, and now those particular things that show your skill, that means shooting with both your right and your left leg. You could shoot very well with your right, but can you shoot with your left? That also shows your skill level. Can you head the ball, and do you know how to head it well with the right technique? Is it a powerful header, or is it just one that just plops to the ground? That is earning you points. Also, controlling the ball. You should also add some drills of you controlling the ball. Have someone in a controlled manner pass to you the ball, throw up the ball in the air. You control it with your chest, with your knees, with your foot. That just shows you're on another, level of skill. However, if some of these things you may not be able to do, and you have time, let's say you have months, I'd still encourage you, especially if you want to do football and you can work towards it. Don't give up. Don't just say, oh, I can't use my left foot. Football is not for me. I cross it out completely. No. I personally developed my basketball skills throughout my course in IGPE. They weren't where I wanted them to be before I could record, but I learned. And learning, it turned out very successful. And I thank God for that. So don't be discouraged. Continue working on it. And I'd also say, don't just put in a drill that didn't go well. Remember, the examiner doesn't know that you're a really good player. Maybe your friends know, your coaches know, but the examiner doesn't know that. Okay, and then for activities like weight training, you can include a warm-up using lighter weights. No body weight exercises. So I've heard that some students have made this mistake of using body weight exercises instead of like as their warm up, and then recording themselves doing it, sending it to Cambridge, and the examiner is like, no, that's not what we asked for. It's weight training. Even if you could do 1,000 push-ups, that's great, but it's weight training. And that's why in IGPE it's very important to understand what exactly the examiner is looking for, especially in coursework. You could be such a good player, but just because you don't know, or even a good athlete, but just because you don't know the expectations, you get it wrong. And that's so unfortunate. And that's why I'm trying to explain as best as I can to, each and every one of you exactly what you're supposed to do, so you don't get it wrong, and so you could get the best grade that you should get, not a grade that doesn't tell who you really are. And then another point is to obtain a higher grade, make sure you also include game situations. So this is very important. I know some people actually may be aiming, a B is fine with me, a B, and thank God I move on with life. And other people could be like, I want an A star. And if you fall into that category, if you fall into the latter, then you need to include game sports. And even better, if you could get more competitive games, basically. If you actually play for, let's say, your country, or you play in a club, and you're playing competitively, like in a tournament, that's perfect, because it's showing that you can play against highly skilled opponents, and the better you play, the better for you. I know sometimes things can happen, the shots are not going in, but make sure whatever you're showing the examiner, I'll stress this again, is your best. Don't show them your worst and then say, oh, but they'll see the next one. They can mark you down just because of that flaw. And why not show them your best? You have a whole, 2 years almost to show them your best. Of course, all they're looking for is your best after 2 years of waiting. And yeah, the more competitive your games are, I mean, you could play a game situation, but against people who are maybe 3 years younger than you and not as experienced as you. They shoot the ball like in football and it always goes over the bar. The examiner is really like, you're not being challenged. So, just as much as possible, try and get challenging game situations. Best is inter school, competitive, not just friendlies and those type of things. And then for other activities, follow the coursework guidelines. Yes, so let's say for things like hill walking, this won't apply to you necessarily because you won't have a team sport, inter school, whatever. No. So what now I recommend even going forward, and I'll even talk about this more, is using the coursework guidelines, and I'll show how to use them and how to use them effectively, because they literally show you, it's like a mark scheme. They show you what you need to add, what they're looking for, and that is a really good basis on where to start and how to start with your whole coursework. So, okay, now in front of you guys on your screen, you should be seeing a screenshot of the coursework guideline, and this is like an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say for cycling, you need to know that if you want to obtain a mark of 20 out of 25, everything is marked out of 25 each activity. Then you need to know that if you're a boy, you need a minimum of 30 to 31.15 seconds in 15 no, that's for girls, in 15 kilometers. This is just an example. I won't read everything, but it's just to show you, I mean, you cannot be doing your coursework and not knowing what time you need to attain. You can submit it to Cambridge, you got a 55 seconds and you think, wow, I've done my job, but that's a 1. Not in any bad way, but it's good to know. It's good to know. And then canoeing. So, oh, I didn't do canoeing. And it's just one of those, out of their examples. Just to show, like, even for something like canoeing, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know if you want a level 5 and above, you must show skills on moving water at grade 2 or above, except for rescues, which must be on open, still water. So these are just examples. And again, it's so important. Another part of the guidelines is this like little, I'll just call it a mark scheme. It just breaks it down for you, but then at the same time I find a few things a bit grayish. Like, you just, how do you judge, how do you know that you're an effective bow rudder? I don't, okay. Long story short, you just need to be guided while using this, but it's still very useful. Okay, finally, my closing tips. So some of these I've already mentioned throughout the video, but I'll just, for the sake of its importance, I'll just repeat. Use IGCSE coursework guideline, which I just mentioned. Make sure you include gameplay videos, which I also mentioned. Add relevant subtitles to your videos. So this I hadn't mentioned before, but it's basically to ensure that the examiner always knows what you're doing. It shouldn't be that the examiner is watching a video of you like running around, going for a layup, and they don't really know what you're doing, what they're supposed to be assessing. So you could say, I hear like right hand layup, just as a subtitle, just so that they could know, okay, I'm watching a right hand layup. I'm not watching just Am I supposed to be grading your dribbling? Even if they generally look at all of it as a whole, it's just good practice. Also, videos can take long to edit well, so start early. So for those of you in year 11 now, you should have already started your videos like yesterday, not yesterday. The like a month ago. Okay, you should have already started your videos, long story short. And if you haven't started your videos, you should have already done something to do with your coursework. Either you're working on your skills and you're just waiting to record, something like that. And when I say videos, I mean the thing as a whole, like the whole 15 minutes, compiling it, bringing everything together and mushing it together and making it a masterpiece. That's what I mean. And it can take longer than you think, especially if you are going to do it well and going to pay attention to detail and make every single use of that 15 minutes and not just put in, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it could take long. So also make sure your videos are not longer than 15 minutes. As I said, you only have 15 minutes, so show your best. And then speed up videos when appropriate to do this. So when I'd mentioned having a software that allows you to speed up videos, this helps, especially if you're running drills and you don't want to just show them like cuts of your drills. You don't, like, you just spawn, like you go for a layup, it goes in, then you just spawn back to the starting point. It's a bit artificial if you think about it, because you could be replaying the clip, or, which is quite easy to tell, so I don't think many people do that, or you could just be showing them, just you make one, miss 100, make one. So it just looks, you're not showing them, they can't really judge that. So what you'd rather do is keep the drills running, so they know you have taken a layup, gotten the rebound, or received the rebound from someone else, and then taken again, so they know it's a continuous thing and you're able to do it continuously. So with that said, I think that wraps up my first video, but I urge you guys, if you have any other video suggestions that maybe I've not thought about yet, please comment it down in the comment section, and I'll be sure to do one as soon as I can. And I hope you really enjoyed the video, and I hope that it has given you a general understanding on what you need to do for your coursework. And yeah, good day. Be fit for IGCSE.